Hello and welcome, this is Rooflemonger, and this video is made by request on the comments on YouTube, and I'm going to be talking about what to do when you're knocked down. So I've talked about several of the concepts I'm going to talk about in this video, and several other videos kind of all over the place, but never once have I talked all this in like all in one video and just everything in all in one place, so that's what I'm going to do. And there will be some things I talked about I haven't mentioned in any other video to date. So first up, before we go into anything else, I want to clean up a misconception. So I see a lot of people call this the hard knockdown. This is not a hard knockdown in any way, shape, or form, and we're going to go to it a bit more as we go into this video, but it's not a hard knockdown at all. Now, there's no official name for it. I call it the sliding knockdown, you call it a slide out knockdown, whatever you want, but this is not a hard knockdown at all. The hard knockdown is solely the province of level 3 supers and Android 16 some of his grabs. So, in a true hard knockdown, you have no say at all how you wake up, and when you wake up, you only wake up at a very fixed time. So once again, that's only for level 3s and certain amounts of Android 16's grabs. So for every other kind of knockdown, call it sliding knockdown, call it whatever you want. Those are not true hard knockdowns, so I just want to clear up the verbiage of that. But anyways, let's go into the basic slide out knockdown. So I now have the Gohan bot set to put me into a position where I'll have this slide out knockdown. So if I touch nothing at all, I'll automatically do the back roll. You can also manually do it by holding back, but there's also another option here. So once again here, we're going to do the same deal. And now I'm holding up on my control pad. And you see here, I springed up a little bit higher in the air. We are in the corner here, so I'll just show that one more time. There we go. A little bit higher, but yet still I did the back spring. So no matter what, I'm going backwards. Now, there is something I can do to change that. Now, if I hold forwards, so I still do a tiny back roll, so I got to move backwards no matter what in some way, shape, or form. But I see here I did not move backwards at quite the same distance. So this is definitely a riskier option because as you're holding forward and not backwards or up, it's a more difficult way to defend yourself. But some people, especially mid-screen, they anticipate the back roll, so they're going to try to trace after it. And there is situations where they can go clean over your head. And with always, and this will apply to every knockdown I'm going to talk about, if you hold down, you will stay in place longer than usual. You can see there. And I just woke up in place. Now, on top of that, there's a fairly recently discovered trick. It involves holding down. So I can hold down a little bit, and then do one of your other options. And now I'm going to be holding down again. And so I stayed down a little bit longer, but I held up and got the back roll. So you can add extra layers of delay onto your knockdown on top of what you already have. But once again, just keep in mind, back for a back spring, up for a further back spring. Hold forward to stay in place for the most part. You move a little back, just a smidge. Hold down to stay down on the ground, and this is a very important one because I felt this one's heavily ignored, and this will get you out of a lot of trouble if you just stay on the ground. But a lot of people don't want to do that, and you can hold down just for a smidge and then any of the other options again to add a tiny little delay to your action. Now, the slide out knockdown is not the only type of knockdown. There's also what I would like to call the soft knockdown. So we have Piccolo here as in our example here. So if he does his light chop here, this is what I call a soft knockdown. As you can see here, I didn't touch nothing. I just recover instantly. Now, on top of that, for instant recover, I can do all the same things we could do before. I can up recover. I can choose to down recover as I did before. I can just stay on the ground if I want to. There you go. And you can forward recover to stay in place. So this does not have the benefit of the slide out, so the extra time for the enemy to get some offensive ability in or any of that kind of stuff. And on top of that, a soft knockdown, you are never allowed to super after it. So basic slide out knockdown, you can just do kind of whatever super you want after it, as long as you're not too far away. But a soft knockdown will, for the most part, never allow for a super move to happen. So if you are playing a character that is prone to soft knockdowns, like say Piccolo here, keep in mind he does have options to burn bar for a slide out knockdown if you're looking for more pressure. But generally speaking, a slide out knockdown, or sorry, a soft knockdown is much more advantageous to the defender as they get to get up right away and get out of dodge right away. Like if we're mid screen here, this exact combo, like Piccolo can't do much. Like he ain't following up. He can call an assist, sure, but it is not a very big deal. Versus a slide out knockdown, he can kind of go forward, jump on top of me, and kind of create me a little more stress than I have to deal with normally. Now for the true hard knockdown. So unlike the slide out, this is a true hard knockdown. There's nothing you can do to stay on the ground longer. Up tech, back tech, stay in place, nothing. So once again, level 3s, all level 3s across the board are true hard knockdowns. So I can do this to Yamcha, and you can see here, boom, he's there. And by the way, if you're wondering why Gohan didn't have the little cinematic, it's because Gotenks is on my team, which means there's no Goten to do the move with, just in case you didn't know. But anyways, so in this example here, I'm just going to run forward. And see, I can just be on top of him as soon as he gets up. So I can do something like this. And I can just Dragon Rush him off the bat, you know. And since that's an option, and if he tries to hit me, you know, I can just hit him back first. If he tries to jump afterwards, then I can just match my buttons and beat him out, because you're not allowed to block in the beginning frames of a jump. Like, it's very difficult to deal with. The true hard knockdown is the most advantageous state in the game, for the most part, because the defender's options are completely removed from them. All they can do is get up and maybe deflect, and we'll talk about that in a little bit more too. But so, you know, we got big ol' Scary 16. The reason he's so terrifying to begin with is, in fact, this is a true hard knockdown, just like a level 3. He's the only person that can do a true hard knockdown on demand without spinning bar, and then he's just right on top of you. He gets to move around freely while you got to get up. And then, you know, you got the mix-ups. You got all sorts of crazy mix-ups. You can just run forward and Dragon Rush too. You can empty jump. There's a million permutations of it, right? But that is why the true hard knockdown is the most advantageous hard knockdown, or knockdown period rather, for the attacker, and the scariest knockdown situation to be in for the defender. So now we have the scariest of situations. What do I do when I'm knocked down in the corner? Because we don't got a lot of room in the back row, you know. Everything gets a lot more difficult. There we go. See, I just got snagged, right? What do we do to stop that? So your options are still the same, though they get a lot more limited. So let's think of it this way here. You can either choose to stay on the ground, so you can use your back roll here. So we'll get up with minimal fuss here, and we'll basically stay on the ground. You can hold up to then get a bit more space. So if we hold up here now and get a bit more space here, and I still got snagged because I tried to do a wake up to accommodate for that. But for some people, if they are just doing grounded pressure, if you hold up, you can actually air dash out of the corner. So keep that in mind if you know your opponent's offense. Or once again, we have the same option just to hold down, stay on the ground. So there you go. See, the jump missed us. So generally speaking, it works in a couple levels here. The regular back roll is the worst option of the three. I'll tell you that right now. If you stay on the ground or you regular back roll, you're basically opening yourself up to, you know, all sorts of instant overheads or Dragon Rush attempts or whatever there is, right? Now, if we hold up, and this is for a lot of people, this is the preferred method. If we hold up here, and if they go for the usual like instant air dash follow up or something like that, you know, trying to somehow like follow up with a punch or kick or whatever to do an instant overhead, we'll block it because in the air blocking, it doesn't matter overhead, low, whatever, it just blocks all the same, right? So that's a safer option, but you're basically submitting to the pressure. Now here's an option I want to show you about here. So we're gonna do the same setup. So wake up to flex an option. So you want to hold down just a smidge, just enough to stay on the ground so you don't do that back roll. But after that, just wake up and deflect. And for the most part, it's just going to beat most offensive options. As you can see there. Just wake up and deflect. That's all there is to it. That's your back key blast and get rid of bounce off the attacker. Now some moves, yes, they have a lot of forward movement, like say Cell for example, and you're going to have to deflect several times to keep them off you. But depending on your character, you might deflect once and then do a far-reaching move yourself. And so I'm going to try to show you a scary situation you don't want to be in. I'm just going to show you how waking up deflect can easily deal with it. So in this situation here, I'm going to have Piccolo do the Hell Zone grenade, and then just do a whole bunch of offensive maneuvers afterwards. So it covers all your wake-up options, and you know, it just, he gets to keep going and going and going while you're blocking, right? So it doesn't matter if you back up, hold down, whatever. Even if you hold down, there's enough Hell Zone grenades that's going to hit you anyways, and you can still block, sure, but you're going to have to submit to whatever offense he's going to throw at you, right? So this is where the deflect option and just holding down for a smidge and deflect works out great, because it basically beats everything. I'm just going to hold down, and I'm just deflecting everything, and sure enough, no big deal. Now, it is not infallible by any stretch, absolutely, because he could just see that I'm deflect happy on my wake up and just toss me, you know? Sure, everything has a weakness. But if you know someone's just going to go berserk on you, then deflect's exactly what the doctor ordered. And keep in mind, if you hold down all the way and then wake up deflect, that beats every attack. Everything but a Dragon Rush. There's no low, there's no overhead, there's no whatever. If you hold down all the way and immediately wake up on first frame, you deflect, it beats every possible attack. So Hellzone Grenade, I use that example here because I know there's been a lot of Piccolos going out and they do Hellzone Grenade and just people fold to the pressure. Well, once again, you just hold down a little bit and wake up deflect. Yeah, you got to deflect a little bit, and they might see that partway through and then go for a Dragon Rush or whatever. But keep in mind, while you're in block stun, and this is Hellzone Grenade as an example, while you are in block stun, you can never be Dragon Rushed. So you can make them stop their offense, you can make them stop their high-low game if you see they're going to backdash that if you're going to deflect that stuff, and just make them want to Dragon Rush. But as long as those Hellzone Grenades are coming, there is no way he can Dragon Rush you. But yeah, just deflect's a very strong part of the game. Now once again, absolutely, just to recap, you can be Dragon Rushed while you're deflecting. So that's kind of the old block versus throw mentality going all the way back to Street Fighter 2, right? If you block too much or defend too much, I'm going to throw you. So that absolutely applies here. But just keep in mind here, it's a very strong technique, and deflecting as you're getting up is a perfectly valid thing to do. So I hope this video may have cleared up any problems, questions, or misconceptions you might have had about the Wake Up game in this game. As always, I made this by request, so if you have any requests of your own, feel free to put it in the comments. More than glad to help make videos for people if I believe I can provide a decent answer to it. But yeah, so the Wake Up game is a big thing. This game obviously much favors offense over defense, but you don't have to be a victim in this situation. You have so many options. When you're mid-screen, you have a lot more options than when in the corner, but in the corner too, deflect is a great equalizer as it can get rid of so many options. And once, you know, you really got into their head, they think you make them think they're going to deflect and they go for a Dragon Rush away, you can just, you know, empty jump, badow, land on their head, and you get your own combo as well. And keep in mind too, in corner, you can up tech and dash out sometimes. It all depends on what manner of offense they're going to do. But a predictable offense will always fall to just a delayed wake up in the deflect. That's kind of the big thing I'm trying to say is, if the opponent just does the same thing after the same thing after the same thing, and you can read them like a book, yeah, it might initially be scary because no one wants to be in the corner. But deflect destroys a predictable offense every day of the week. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Hope this video found you well. Go out and play some Dragon Ball.
This is the love making.